Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of Regulalytics. Welcome to this week's Regulatory Roundup. I'm channeling my best Gary V as I share the most interesting alerts from the 4,064 we had last week while commuting through New York City. Because, hey, we're back in person, baby. The regulator of the week is Madeleine Albright, who, as many of you know, passed away last week. 3 federal agencies and 15 U.S. states, and I'm sure many more, honored her memory with announcements and kind words. At the order of the president, the country lowered our flag half-mast this past Sunday. The topic of the week was housing discrimination, most notably with the White House releasing the PAVE Action Plan. For those of you out of the loop, in June, on the centennial of the Tulsa Race Massacre, President Biden announced the creation of the Interagency Task Force on Property Appraisal and Valuation Equity, PAVE, to work on bias in home valuations. For once, the top Republican and Democrat at the Senate Banking, Housing, and Finance Committee agree that this is a topic absolutely worth addressing. Of course, Pat Toomey of the Republican side wants less regulation and more freedom for people to make their own underwriting decisions. In the same breath, South Dakota, very much focused on being unregulated so people can make their own decisions, passed a law banning colleges from requiring critical race theory to be taught. Go figure. And speaking of surprising and in somewhat agreement moves, Pat Toomey is also advocating for the U.S. to impose secondary sanctions on the entirety of Russia's financial sector, which would cut off Putin's oil and gas sales globally. In crypto, a very important organization, IOSCO, which is the International Organization of Securities Commissions Organizations, essentially a regulator made up of all the world's regulators on securities, put out a statement on decentralized finance, definitely worth a read. Also, the Texas Ethics Commission, say that 5 times, proposes a new rule categorizing political contributions in the form of virtual currency as an in-kind contribution, meaning it's considered the same if a company donates like leftover toothbrushes or unsold suits to a political candidate. Also, the White House released its proposed budget for 2023, which of course has elicited tons of commentary this week. The SEC is proposing to categorize certain prop desks and market makers as designated SROs who need to register and comply with the SEC. Even Hester, while she's not sure if she likes this regulation, is excited about the proposed rule to hear what the industry has to say about it. She acknowledges an awful lot of U.S. Treasuries markets are made outside of the regulated dealer world. Speaking of the SEC, the West Virginia State Auditor's Office is not a fan of their proposal on climate change, possibly the first of many conservative states to speak out on it. The California Horse Racing Board is investigating the deaths of 4 horses in the course of the last few weeks to confirm it was accidental and not negligence. And finally, New Jersey approved the 68 recreational cannabis business licenses this week. So that's it this week for Regulalytics. I am cold. We have the most comprehensive, coherent, and customizable regulatory alerts tool in the world. Come and see how company after company is transforming their compliance with the kind of transparency where you can just know everything going on while walking outside of Grand Central Station.